How did we go from the world's largest demonstration, the Women's March, to this moment? This week, when asked by reporters, not one women's organization, except for Matriarch, issued a comment in response to the corroborated sexual assault allegation by Joe Biden's former staffer, Tara Reade. When reporters asked female icons in the Senate and Congress, from Senator Gillibrand to Speaker Nancy Pelosi, if they believed Tara Reade, if they believed women, their response was that they believed Joe Biden. I think we are past the point of debating whether or not Tara Reade's story should be or not be investigated or believed. Yes, we are in the middle of a presidential campaign, and Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party. But these political strategies to beat Trump are revealing the Democratic Party's worst traits right now. The Democratic establishment is so afraid that Joe Biden will be weakened that they are abandoning the values that they have branded around for the last few years, the Me Too movement, believing women, and even holding Democrats to account on these issues. Let me be clear. This story is not going away. The New York Times just called for an investigation, and that's way too late. Barely anyone even noticed Hillary Clinton's endorsement of Joe Biden, which conveniently came the same day CNN covered Tara Reade's allegations. In fact, the women that Joe Biden may think are covering for him are becoming a story themselves in revealing their interest in maintaining power over sticking to the values that got them their power and into their positions today. There's a special place in hell, isn't there? This story is not going away. The latest reporter to corroborate this story, Rick McHugh, was one of the brave reporters, along with Ronan Farrow, to go against some of the very same establishment when unveiling the Harvey Weinstein story. The story is not going away. So my question to Democratic feminists and women's groups and leaders who have championed the Me Too movement and raised a lot of money off of supporting victims, rightfully so. My question is, are you willing to exercise your power when it matters? When it's tough? When you may tick off some donors? Whether women are part of this conversation or not, this story is blowing up. So isn't it better to be part of the conversation and ask Joe Biden the questions on our terms rather than Donald Trump's? Think about it. If notable feminists issued their demands of Joe Biden today, he would be forced to respond and likely comply with the demands. And that's good for Joe Biden because it shows that he's taking this a little bit seriously. And it shows that the Democrats may not be hypocrites when it comes to issues related to Me Too and women. Because we know that Trump will try to label Democrat as hypocrites. We know all of the worst arguments that we made against Trump are weakened when Democrats are exposed as hypocrites. This is all if Joe Biden continues to do nothing. All if women's groups and leaders continue to act as cover for him, whether intentional or not, whether silent or not, whether giving vague statements or not. If Biden wants to use women's groups and women as cover, the smartest thing that these groups and women can do is to make him take responsibility. Make him listen to their demands. One demand, very simple and obvious demand women could be making, is to appoint female representatives from national women's groups and unions to the Vice Presidential Selection Committee, and for Joe Biden to kick the sexual perp Chris Dodd off of that 4-person committee that is supposedly selecting his female Democratic vice presidential choice. Now, maybe the establishment thinks that, okay, we're 6 months away from the election and this is all going to blow over, especially if feminists can help quash the story by minimizing and questioning the allegations. But the establishment should be more concerned at this point in revealing themselves as power-hungry hypocrites that stand for absolutely nothing, and how that will be used as a political weapon in the general election. Perhaps even more so than this jaw-dropping allegation itself. In other words, the establishment is writing Donald Trump's attack ads by abandoning all the principles that they've stood by, even when campaigning against him, by not taking Reade's corroborated allegations seriously, by not believing women. Does the emperor have clothes? Do women's groups, to which we've all organized with and gotten arrested with and donated money to, do they want to exercise how important they are in this party, in this movement, in politics, where they can actually win concessions because Biden has absolutely no choice? Well, they can control the narrative around this story before the MAGA movement sinks its teeth and lumps in every victim-denying female leader with Biden's record with women, including the Hyde Amendment, the Anita Hill hearings, touching women inappropriately, and of course, the corroborated Reid allegations. This is the ultimate test for the Me Too movement. Are we willing to sabotage this movement and political careers of female leaders and hand the narrative over to Trump? Or do we want to exercise the power we have over the Biden campaign to answer our demands above and beyond an appearance on Morning Joe where he shifted the burden to a process? Because that's what machine politicians do. They create commissions, investigations, more process. They delay, delay, delay. If this is about politics, feminists, don't abandon your principles. You cannot surrender a hard-fought movement of decades to an incompetent campaign. Biden will be tested by this story. He is being tested by this story. But Biden should be answering to us, not to Donald Trump. And if Biden is the nominee at this point, then his campaign strategists need to wake up and have an action plan to answer to us. Stop kicking us down, stop erasing us, stop sending out your surrogates to attack the left and to attack feminists. But we have a duty to speak up and issue our demands. Not stay silent as our leaders champion Republican talking points. That's essentially spitting in the face of decades of feminist organizing and advocacy. Does the emperor have any clothes?